Lawrence, it's really special that you were able to fit in a brief visit to West Wickham, where Drina and I live, and we had lunch together, and we had that wonderful prayer time last night, and you shared some of your heart in the prayer time. I was especially impressed what you said about Africa. You sense that's an area where things are really moving forward.
Yes, it is. Yeah, George, I just want to say it is good to drop by and visit you here. Susan and I, we both enjoyed our lunch and also our little fellowship after that over ice cream. Yeah, we don't visit this place enough simply because you are here. You know, you're covering this whole area. There's no need for me to be here. But every moment we get here, that was good that we can just pop by. And looking at OM, it is really exciting. Africa is a growth area for OM. The potential is immense, and we are putting a lot of resources from the OM side into developing their leaders, equipping the people for the responsibilities that they step into, and also to provide them with the proper tools to do the work that we call them to do. And to me, I think Africa has the potential to supply us with lots of future workers, perhaps not internationally all over the world because of the financial constraint, but definitely within the region. Area.
Melvin and I, the director of that area, were ministering together at a church here in London. It was a great chance to get to know him. Well, this next week is the first week of your next 4 years, your second term. I can't believe where did 4 years go since we took that from Peter Maiden and handed it to you. As you look back at these 4 years, what do you feel were some of the highlights?
Well, there were lots of highlights. I think the OM 4 years ago is very different from the OM today, and I am so thankful to God that for a movement that is 60 years old, the people are still willing to adapt and adjust to the reality, so that we are more suited for the times that we live in today. I think some of the highlights for OM is the whole restructuring process. First of all, that we embark on this process in response to the needs of OM people, asking us to look at the structure, to look at the situation, and ask us to improve on something that is already good. And that is a challenge, but we took it. And we find there's a lot of fine-tuning here and there. And so we added the international board, and that went really smoothly from the IDAC, the International Director Accountability Group, to now a formal official board that gives oversight and accountability to the international director. That was really good. The second thing is the restructuring of the leadership. We felt that the leadership team was too big, and we wanted to be a smaller group but more focused, where their energy are more concentrated in the responsibilities they do. So that's good as well. But I think for OM as a whole, I am so thankful how the whole movement has embraced the new mission statement, where we want to see vibrant communities of Jesus followers among the least reached. It just within less than a year, more than 80% of the movement embraced the new vision. And that's quite something.
Lawrence, you were once director of the Lagos 2. I remember being with you.
Yes.
And now you've just visited Lagos Hope there in the Caribbean. What's your impression 45 years later, the ship ministry? Do you feel it still has a place in this movement?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I believe the ship has a place in the movement. The ship is visible, it's large, it's a big, it's unto itself an organization. When the ship comes into a country, it generates a lot of interest, a lot of publicity, and a lot of visibility for OM and for the local churches. It draws thousands and thousands of people to come on board. Some of these people are unchurched people. That could be the first time they're exposed to the gospel. So that was good. And then also a recruiting force. People saw the ship, they gravitate towards the life and all that. And it generated a lot of interest. And these are just some of the things. And there's a myriad of different ministries taking place on board the ship. I think there is a place for the ship ministry in OM, and I think there is also a place for more than just one ship. But we need to just trust the Lord for a better strategy and a better plan on how to maximize the resources of more than one ships.
Well, what about this riverboat? I know that's coming under Europe, not under the ship, but are you excited about that?
Yes, George, I am excited, and I had said to Robert Yan that I want to be on the maiden voyage to lend support to the ministry. I think it's a brilliant idea that we can take the riverboat and go into the inland of the cities where our ships cannot go, and even where some OM teams don't visit us at all. And this pilot project, I think it's a brilliant idea that we can go and try it out, fine-tune the idea, bring back the experience, reevaluate, review the whole thing, and it's something I think we can use in the future if it goes well. More than one ship. There's Orinoco, there's Amazon, there's Chongqing in China, there's the Nile River. I mean, there's Mekong River.
Well, what about the Thames here?
The Thames are
more of a canal boat. We could have a canal boat. But really, you're from Asia. You were director of the work in China for some time. We're hearing these various reports of China and the Chinese church wanting to send really tens of thousands of missionaries. Do you think this is going to happen? What's your feel about the big changes in Asia and Asia becoming so proactive in global missions?
Yeah, I think the churches in Asia has a lot of energy. It's not just China alone. We're talking about Korea. Yep, some people say Koreans have kept it off, but I don't think it's going to happen so quickly. The churches are still
There's
very
already
strong.
so many out there.
Yeah, and the Philippines represent another new mission group. Indonesia, and then we talk about Singapore, Malaysia, I think, and India. I mean, we have not, for us, East Asian, we don't consider Asia. India has part of the East Asian group, but India unto itself as well has a lot of potential. So I see, again, like Africa, a lot of potential recruits and resources that will come from Asia. And we need to position OM in such a way that we can be a platform to facilitate these people when they go into mission.
Lawrence, when I had this role, of course, the work was smaller. 46 years of it, as you know, 15 years ago, I was very happy to turn it over to Peter Baden. But at times, I seem to be handling a lot of problems, a lot of discouragement. I remember trying to let the sun go down on it, so I kept fighting back and rejoicing. And sometimes I'm pretty stressful. How are you handling the disappointments, the setbacks? How are you handling stress? What's your strategy there?
George, I remember your words to me many, many years ago. I don't know if you remember that, but you said to me when I was a ship director that I have to welcome frustrations, disappointments as friends. And I do that.
Well, I need to be reminded of that. Thank you.
It's in the Christian world, we don't live in a perfect world. And mess, like you know so well, does take place even within a very godly situation. And so we see that in OM. OM is not a perfect organization, but I draw my encouragement from the people that I work with. They are so committed to the movement. They are so passionate about the gospel, and they want to see the Lord Jesus glorified. And so all these people who pour their lives, who pour their energy, and who sacrifice their future, these are the people that motivates me. They are the people that give me the energy and the purpose to press on. So I wake up every morning anticipating that today, somewhere in the OM world, somebody is making an impact and change this world. And that gives me encouragement. The other thing is lately, a year ago, I've taken up sports, and I exercise, and that helped release some of the tensions and release.
You lost quite a bit of weight.
I have.
Yeah, that takes a lot of work. Well, wherever I go, people, of course, ask me about India. You must have the same thing because it's now a separate church, indigenous church movement. I'm sure you at times get pretty hard questions. Why did it leave OM? Well, what's your sense about India and your role in keeping that link with India?
I mean, I do keep in touch with Joseph D'Souza and the leadership in India. I think it's good for the two organizations to have a healthy relationship. It's a choice, George. We can look at India and only think of the negative and all the problems that we faced a few years ago. Or you can look at India and celebrate what God has done in the last 50 years. I chose to celebrate God's grace and mercy to India 50 years ago. So many people in India that I have met who are not with OM India today or Good Shepherd community churches, people who are serving independently in India, pastors, Christian leaders, they trace their roots back to OM.
Yeah.
And I think there are thousands and thousands of people who have benefited from the ministry. And this is a cause for rejoicing.
Yeah.
And then what about people that came to faith in the Lord?
Thousands.
And, thousands.
Yeah.
So I think we need to look at India and celebrate what God has done. And it is for God to decide the future of India, not us.
Yeah.
But our job is to support and to give encouragement to one another as we should to any brother and sisters.
Well, Lawrence, it's been great to have this chat with you. We could go all afternoon,
We
but
could.
thanks so much, and be assured that we're standing with you 100%, and especially trying to maintain contact with former OMers and with those who support the work financially. Actually, through special projects, we're in touch with many thousands. 200,000 have been on OM. I estimate about 25,000 of them are in some kind of leadership, often in the local church. So that's a tremendous legacy as we look back over these now 60 years. Just 60 years ago, Dale and Walter and I were just arriving back at college from that first trip to Mexico. So we give thanks to the Lord.
And I want to add, George, my thanks to you and Drina for the fine example you have been to OM and to all of us. Still pressing on after you step down from your leadership role, giving support, giving encouragement, and identifying areas in the world and also in individuals to highlight their needs and the opportunities to us. You have been a wonderful example, and I want to thank you for that.
Give thanks to the Lord.